That was such a nice breakfast. Man, I gotta get to WSOP. I'll just use 888 Ride. I heard they have great service.
Summer in Las Vegas, which means three things. It's hot. The World Series of Poker's in town, and 888 Ride is here to provide a service. Speaking of that, looks like we are picking up two-time bracelet winner, Dylan Weisman. Let's go get him. Thousands upon thousands of poker players descend upon the heat of Las Vegas in hopes of winning millions of dollars, but more importantly, winning a World Series of Poker bracelet. I am sitting next to a man who has just done that this summer, winning number 2, Dylan Weisman. Dylan, I enjoy commentating with you. I enjoy hanging out with you. I enjoy watching you play poker. I've never had you in 888 Ride before. I am glad to have you here.
It's nice that we are expanding our relationship, you know? It's like, it's good to not be in a box, right? We see each other in these specific contexts. So now being in the box of a car, it'll just like create a new ambiance.
Okay, so we're here, summer, Las Vegas. It is hot. You live here now, which we can get to that in a second. What's the World Series like for you? I saw on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, I saw, maybe it was Instagram, I saw you whining about running really bad. And I know that was sarcastic, and I loved it, by the way. I loved every second of it.
The bit is strong.
It's a really strong bit.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't even know, 96 hours later, you got your second bracelet in your hands.
It was that day.
Was it that day?
Yeah, it was that.
Shut up!
That was the meme.
That's amazing.
I don't want that to actually be the truth, but like, it's funny. There are things that you can glean from the Sunrunners of the world, right? I was playing a lot of poker with Nacho Barbero, and he does a really good job of, one, complaining more than most humans, but then two, he asks for what he wants in poker. Like I used to say, you know, don't have the King of Spades come out or something, but he asks for what he wants when he's playing. And so you kind of have to learn from the people who've been doing it for a long time. And I am the exact opposite of a complainer. In my days, I just don't have it in my body. But I felt like sarcastically complaining might still get some of that run good juju. And you know, it really worked out for me. And now all my friends have been sarcastically complaining to each other as a meme. And I'm hoping, I just wanted to stay in that uncanny valley and not transition into actually complaining. Like, that's the goal.
Okay, how do you navigate, because, okay, you're Dr. GTO. You know, you come from an online background, you're a coach.
For sure.
From a rational, reasonable perspective, you asking for a card or not asking for a card has no bearing on the actual card that comes out, right?
Confirmed. Well, actually, I don't want to confirm anything. I don't know how shit works.
What, we're gonna go Maverick-like?
No.
You're gonna ask for a card and it's gonna come?
No. I think a better way of describing it is when you are trying to create a space that you can execute well inside of, trying to be like, all right, what is the best thing that can happen in this scenario so that you can act in a positive sense versus what is the worst thing that can happen in this scenario so that you're reacting negatively. That, I think, shift in mentality is actually really important. And it's actually a lot of reasons why people are poor poker players, is that they're so scared of what their opponent might have that they execute poorly out of a fear mentality. And so if you can just have that little bit of a brain shift into trying to think into like the positive aspect of what could happen, and that's not to say like, oh, I'm going to stack this person every single time in a hand, yada, yada, yada. But I think that it can help clear your mindset, generally speaking, to perform better. And so I don't want to claim that like asking for the card is going to actually have you run better, although Nacho runs like the sun, so who knows. But I do think that there is something to be said about not having that negative mentality when approaching the game of poker, because it's like, by definition, you're going to lose all the time, right? And so if that's what your brain is focusing on, if you're focusing on the bad thing you don't want to happen, I think it's easy to get stuck in that pattern.
I love that. By the way, I would expand that not just to poker, but in life.
For sure.
It's like when I call my mother.
Yeah.
Right? New Yorker, you know.
Yeah.
To the nth degree. And if I call her, you know, past 9 o'clock, it's just, what's wrong? Like the first thing she jumps to. Yeah. Instead of, I could be calling you, Mom, because something amazing happened.
Yeah.
Why couldn't it be positive? I mean, of course it's negative.
Humans, I think that in general in our society we have a little bit of a fear response mentality happening. The world is a beautiful place and is kind of tough to live in right now. And you get so many feedback loops of like things are hard, you have to work really hard. You have to look out for yourself. And when that's the constant programming that you're given, it makes sense that your body is just going to go into that naturally, especially if you're a New Yorker, like, and that's where you grew up, because things just feel hard generally in that space. And so you just get used to it.
I guess so. Okay, so how do you get around it? I mean, what's your World Series of Poker routine when you're going to play?
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's a great question because it changes a little bit every day. And it also has been evolving as I've kind of grown more into having a family, like with a partner and a dog and all those things. I'd say in the past, it was kind of just like get up and take care of myself and go. And now it's a little bit more of still to get up and take care of myself, but then also how do I take care of my family so that the whole system is being sustainable? So like this year,
But it's not 4 days.
No, it's not.
It's 7 weeks.
Exactly. And I don't think that I perform as well if my home life feels worse. Like that's just, I think that's probably true for the majority of people who have a family. I know that some people can just, go live in a hotel for 7 weeks and then not really tune in, which is also a valid strategy. I don't like, as long as you and your partner are consenting, I think that's completely great. That's not how my relationship is set up. And so, for example, today, woke up, hung out with my fiance, swam our dog for 45 minutes. We have
Swam your dog?
So we have a golden doodle who has immense energy needs, and he loves to swim more than anything else on the planet Earth. And so I literally just throw balls into the pool for 45 minutes, and he swims around and is a little hungry hippo trying to get them all. And so that's his morning and afternoon and evening exercise during the summer. So did that.
Do you guys swim in the pool or is it just his pool?
It depends on, like, it's actually funny. The house that we're purchasing right now, one of the key buying criteria was a pool because he could not survive in Vegas in the summer without one. He has such high energy.
I mean, if you're living in Las Vegas, you need a pool.
I think a lot of people don't care that much. We cared a lot about having a pool for sure. It felt just from kind of the same thing, like from an infrastructure perspective, we didn't want to have our dog feeling like crap all day. Yeah. And so that was like, that's an iteration that this year actually we made relative to last year. So did that, and then did some breath work, some stretching, took a shower, went in sauna'd, worked out in the sauna, did some breath work, ate some food.
I love it. For a lot of poker players out there that are getting up for, a midday World Series poker start, I woke up, I had a cup of coffee, and I don't know, I walked to the casino. That's not you. What's breath work, by the way? What is that?
Breath work is just like a breath practice. So intentionally breathing with a specific outcome in mind. So for me, my breath practice, it kind of revolves around what I need for that day. So there's a specific type of breathing that you can do. Let's say that you're really tired. That will give you a little bit more energy. Let's say you're feeling super anxious. There's specific types of breath work that can get your body to calm down a little bit more. During the series in the morning, it's usually like a higher energy type of breath that I end up doing because we sleep 5 to 6 hours. And so our recovery is a lot worse than it would normally be. But kind of to your point, I would be an absolute potato if I did not take care of myself in the morning. My body is very sensitive just as a human being, and my brain is so intertwined with that my performance just absolutely drops if I don't take care of myself. And it's like, we literally quantify it. Like if you look at my chart for this year and you look at the days that I took care of myself and then went swing dancing, those are the days that I am winning poker tournaments. Like I'm not we do swing dancing Monday and Friday every week.
Every week?
Yeah, every week.
You and your partner?
Yeah, we have a teacher come to our house. It's fantastic. It's
amazing.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Are you good?
Decent. I'm he calls us entering intermediate. Like we're not beginners, not advanced. We're
so you might be too young for this. So when I first moved to LA, there was a place in Los Feliz called the Brown Derby.
Have not heard of the Brown Derby.
That was featured in the movie Swingers.
Okay. That
swing dancing, and it's kind of where swing dancing started to get cool again.
That's fun.
For this next generation.
That's really cool.
And you should, first of all, movie Swingers.
Okay.
Movie Swingers, great movie. And
good recommendation.
Yeah, no, and swing dance, Brown Derby, it's not there anymore, unfortunately, but it was just a staple in LA.
That's fun.
And I know you're from there.
Yeah. That's cool. No, I didn't. I started doing swing dancing in Chicago when I was living there because I was cold and sad and wanted to have energy. And I think a lot of poker players kind of find their physical medium. Swing is great for me because it's logical, you have to be thinking, but it's also very intuitive. When you're leading a swing dance, you shouldn't be thinking that much. You kind of practice and study the fundamentals, and then when you're dancing, you just execute. And
Okay.
that's very similar to poker because it's very intuitive and free flow. And that's kind of the headspace I want to be in when I'm playing as well. Like when I'm sitting and playing poker, I think a lot of people have this misconception of me that I'm just like hardcore grinding numbers in my brain, but that usually gets done, like all that work gets done away from the table. And by the time I'm sitting down, it's very much like, what is my body feeling in this moment? What do I know? Like I already know generally I know the answer to like the theory questions, but like in this moment, in this game flow, what's happening? How am I supposed to execute?
Put all the work in off the table, or if you're an athlete, put the work in away from the field, the ice, wherever you play. So when you do play, you can be creative, you can be imaginative, and you trust. I'm assuming the confidence comes from that as well, because you've already know you put the work in.
Exactly. No, it's easier to break the rules if you know what they are, right? And I think that a lot of
I had a writing teacher that told me that.
It's
great advice.
It's a huge thing for poker.
Know the rules before you break them.
It's really important because I think that a lot of exploitative poker players, quote unquote, because they don't know the fundamentals, they kind of just build their own rule sets, and it's actually really easy to break a bad exploitative strategy. And that's like a lot of the money that I make in poker doesn't even come from recreationals. It comes from professionals who don't have solid fundamentals, because they're actually easier to beat because they've built this system to kind of exploit the recreationals. And their systems are just so easy to kind of put a little bit of force into, and it just shatters. And so having that base level of fundamentals makes it so that when you're playing against the good players, they can't just like punch you in the face very easily.
Right. Nobody wants to get punched in the face. I don't like getting punched
No,
in the face. Nobody likes that.
Big same. I'm not a fan of it either. But it's going to happen to you.
You're my go-to when it comes to PLO commentary.
I appreciate that.
I absolutely love having you in the booth. Unfortunately for me, but fortunately for you and your bankroll, you're quite good at these. So you keep running deep, so we have to usually go with somebody else. But PLO is not your only thing. I mean, your two bracelets are now in the 4-card game and the 5-card game.
No, 4 and 4.
I thought you won one in Big O. No,
I final tabled the 10K Big O. I won the 1K and the 1500. This are the two bracelets that I won.
You're good. Anytime I give you more than 2 cards, you're pretty good. But you're not bad at the 2-card game either. You cashed the main event last year.
Did.
Talk about your evolution in No Limit Holdem and where you've gone through that.
Yeah, it's a great question. 2-card is a really fun game also. It's just very scientific. Like you have to be, like I started working with a coach, his name is Phil Shing, lovely human also. And what I learned about 2-card is that the best players are just so dialed. Like in PLO, it's just not as evolved of a game because the study tools aren't there for as many people. Like we've built a lot of our own, and so it's a little bit of a competitive advantage in that way. Whereas for Holdem, people have all the tools to work with. And so the game is just so much more evolved. And so being able to kind of lean into that and have everyone be really good right off the bat. Like I just kind of jumped into the PokerGo high rollers as my training ground, which is not the softest place to practice. But
not advisable.
Not advisable. I ran really hot though. That's advisable. Shipping the first like 2 that I played was really good for the confidence and then kind of bad for the long-term bankroll.
I was going to say, we're going to get to your coaching, but I was going to say, if you're one of your students says, hey, should I take a shot? What's your view on shot taking? Well, if you're going to take a shot, win, run hot.
Yeah, no, it's for sure the best strategy. Run the hottest when you're at the highest stakes. I would say that it's actually really helped my overall poker game because it forced me to, because I'm not going to be better at theory than these people are. I'm just not. They've put in more time and energy and effort. And so it's forcing me to use my other skill sets in the live environment that aren't just game theory based. And that I think has had it's been a huge improvement for the rest of my game. I also learned mixed these past 8 months. So I learned mixed and no limit.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing the 50K Players Championship.
Yeah. And that just learning new things and not being an expert at them has just really forced me to like get better at trusting the intuition, better at trusting my skill set that's not PLO based or like not game theory based. And then I think that helps my PLO game as well.
I was going to say, does learning one game help another game?
For sure. I mean, the people always ask me like, what game should I learn first? And the answer is whichever one is the most interesting to you, because you have to get really, really, in my opinion, you have to get really, really good at one game first. Because if you get good at one game, you'll get good at game theory. And then once you're good at game theory, you can apply it to the other games. It just becomes so much.
It's like learning languages.
Exactly. Like you learn Spanish really well so that you can learn French and you can learn Portuguese. It's very similar to that.
Why do I want to learn French? Why would I ever want to learn French? I love it. I love it. Hey, what do you want? I mean, you moved here from LA, not even to be a poker player, right? What were you going to do?
I ran a hedge fund with my friends. I was in tech for 7 years. I pretty much quit poker after college, went and worked in tech, came back to poker 5-ish years ago.
Once you thought you were out, we dragged you back in.
I'm actually so happy that I left. It was coming back to poker after having left it was so healthy for me because I think that a lot of poker players, they get really good at poker and make a lot of money, but those 20s are pretty key developmental years. And I think that focusing on developing as a human has actually literally probably made me more money in the long term in the world of poker, just because I was able to come back.
Life EV as well.
Yeah, just I'm a healthier, more stable human because of that. It was so powerful for me to like leave and come back. And now also poker isn't the only thing that I do. Like I have a coaching business and a bunch of other side projects. And so not being reliant on poker is like the only thing that I'm doing is just so much healthier for me personally. Because
talk about your coaching for a second. Do you love it?
I love it probably more than playing. Coach, I've always been a teacher. It's my favorite thing to do. I love the process of translating information to someone and helping them grow. And because a lot of it's very empathy based, like feeling who they are and what their goals are and how do you translate to them what they need to learn. Like that's such a unique problem solving puzzle that is so fun for me because it's so human based.
Money aside.
Yeah.
If you had a choice between winning bracelet number 3 or one of the students that you've been working with for a while, winning their first.
Oh, no, for sure. Them winning their first for sure.
And by the way,
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that. I think I could ask some people that, and they might answer the same way, but I don't believe them. I believe it from you.
I sweat so hard when my student, like it's funny. We put my brother into the $600 PLO. I like put him in front of a computer. I was like, all right, train 10 big blinds for an hour. And then you're going to get into this line and you're going to double up twice and then you're going to fold into the money. And that's what he did. But I was sweating him so much harder than I sweat myself at like big buy-in tournaments. Like him min cashing meant so much more to me than that. Because like we're spoiled as poker players. We get the experience of doing well repeatedly, and not a lot of humans get that experience. And so like to have my brother like actually like he like has a hand above now. That's super, like that's so cool to me. I'd probably want to win a bracelet more than him min cashing, not gonna lie. But there's a dynamic there that felt really like involved, and I appreciate that a lot.
I know there's no way you could do this without the support of your partner and your friends and everything that you do, yoga, swing dancing, all of it. What's next for you? I mean, you've got the coaching business. You're obviously been crushing poker. I love the fact, by the way, that I'm looking at your Hendon mob and I'm seeing you playing like, you're playing 3-figure tournaments and then you're playing 6-figure tournaments, like 3 weeks apart, which I don't know how you do it. You must just love it. But what's next for you?
Honestly, I don't really think about what is next right now because I love my life with where it is. I don't have like literally if I could continue living the life that I have right now for the next 20 years, I'd be absolutely stoked. Like me and my family are healthy. We are in a space in life that is sustainable and I get to do something that I love most days, right? And that's not something that humans have. Like this is the life that I have right now is I think the life that I've been building towards for up until this point. And so I don't really have a what's next. I have a like, this is where I am and this is where I want to continue to be.
You want kids?
Yeah, I think that's the intention. Probably in a couple of years.
From somebody who lives on this planet, I would like you to procreate many, many times. I think we have an issue that we have the wrong people procreating.
Yeah, idiocracy is real.
like, please, you and your partner should have like 9. Okay,
that's too many kids, man. Like,
okay, maybe 9's too many.
2 to 3 is like
you get the point.
Yeah, I do. It's our like I do want to have kids, and I want that life. I think that my intention is to have that life experience. I'm also really enjoying being young with disposable income and being healthy. That's fantastic as well. But this has been a fantastic ride.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. So these World Series of Poker rides are always shorter, okay? than our normal 8-day rides.
Yep.
And if you will join me again, I would love to get inside your brain and talk to you for an hour.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's definitely do it.
I'm interested.
Seriously, I love your brain. I love the way it works. And I'm thrilled. So we are here at the World Series of Poker. Good luck.
Thank you.
Go crush them. Dylan Weisman might be one of, well, first of all, he's definitely one of the coolest guys in poker. He has, as far as I'm concerned, he has checked all the boxes. Like, he takes care of himself, and he's got a really balanced life, and he might be the best poker player you've never heard of. Okay?
Unless you're Tim Duckworth.
Yeah, Tim Duckworth. Yeah, no, he's there.
No, he'll tell everybody. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.